Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our Thursday evening live. I'm so happy that you are here. I'll just do a bit of an intro as other people might be joining. And I know at this live, it sometimes takes a minute. Pardon my voice. And if I'm coughing, I'm still feeling a little under the weather today, but I'm here regardless. So, my name is Glenda. For those of you who don't know me, I am the founder of Mindful, goodness, Myles Ahead Wellness. Let's see if I can actually get through this tonight. I'm a psychotherapist, a meditation teacher, and a health coach, and I have been in the wellness sphere for over 30 years now. We offer these bi-weekly lives for a few reasons. One, to share some wisdom and to practice in community because practice is everything around self mastery. The mission that we have at Miles Ahead Wellness is to support self mastery, especially at midlife. And especially for women, although we are not exclusive to those categories, so that we might realize our potential and live life more fully. And so tonight's, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the recording later, we're exploring the science of gratitude. I firmly believe so strongly that there's many simple, if you will, things that we can do to really shift how we feel and our experience. One is breath work, which we'll talk about maybe on another a live sometime. And the other is this idea of gratitude. And so tonight I want to dive a little bit deeper into it. We've also recently on Wednesday, there's a Substack article talking about gratitude, and I'll talk about some of the other things that we have as an offering as well. So let's begin by the basics. What is gratitude? Gratitude is a feeling of appreciation or thankfulness for something that has been given or received. It involves recognizing sometimes those good things in one's life, the little things sometimes, right? And being thankful for them, whether they're big or small. Gratitude can be directed, of course, to another person, to a situation, to an object. I often joke my morning coffee is definitely sometimes on my gratitude list, and even towards oneself like compassion. It is often associated with positive emotions like happiness, contentment, satisfaction. So, practicing gratitude can have many benefits for our mental and emotional well being, including reducing stress, expanding or improving our mind, and increasing our overall happiness. And in fact, the title of tonight's was Expand Your Heart and Reduce Your Stress. And that's very much what gratitude can do for us. When we talk about gratitude, I think it's important to kind of go back to the science behind it, right? So let's talk a little bit about what neuroscience says about gratitude. So the neuroscience of gratitude explores how the brain processes, responds to feelings of gratitude. And there's a growing field of research, in fact, that studied this very thing and how those people, when practicing gratitude, there's measurable effects on the brain. One of which is there's increased activity in the prefrontal cortex. And for those that maybe don't know, the prefrontal cortex is the part of our brain that's responsible for executive functioning, right? So decision making, attention, planning, discernment, all of those really important things. And so studies have shown that expressing gratitude actually increases the activity in this area of the brain, leading to better cognitive function. Pretty wild when you think about it. The second thing that neuroscience has shown, studies have shown, is the release of dopamine. So gratitude has been linked to the release of dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter in the brain that's associated with reward and the idea of pleasure. So, this release of dopamine reinforces the behavior of practicing gratitude, making it more likely to become a habit when done regularly, which is very cool. And we're always looking for ways, in a world right now where dopamine often comes from, you know, the phone, and things like this, and this constant instant gratification and these hits of dopamine, we're constantly seeking for more of it. And so, what we want is a healthier relationship with dopamine that has these longer lasting. And so, we're looking for practices that we can engage in that retrains, if you will, our body and our brain's need for and response to dopamine. And so gratitude practices is one. The third thing that neuroscience has shown is that there's a reduced activity in the amygdala. If you've listened to any of mine, you've probably heard me refer to the amygdala as the smoke detector of the brain kind of thing, right? So it's responsible for processing emotions, in particular fear and anxiety. So it's that part of the brain that says, uh-oh, we're in trouble, and then triggers the fight or flight response in our nervous system. So studies have shown that expressing gratitude can actually reduce activity in this area of the brain, which can reduce anxiety and stress. And the fourth thing that I wanted to mention was that there's increased activity in what they call the anterior cingulate cortex. And this part of the brain is involved in regulating emotions and empathy. So, studies have shown that practicing gratitude can increase activity in this area of the brain, which can lead to improved social relationships and increased empathy towards each other, which is kind of mind boggling, right? Again, when you think about it, here what we're doing is finding gratitude often for the things around us, in particular, the people. And we'll talk about some of the ways that we can do this that might really speak to this part about improving empathy in particular. So, overall, the neuroscience, the science of gratitude, really supports the practice of gratitude as having significant positive effects on the brain, including improving cognitive function, reducing stress and anxiety, and even improving these pro social behaviors or social relationships that we have with people. So, why does it work? I mean, have you ever thought about it? Like, why does gratitude make us feel better? Why might gratitude improve mental and emotional well being? So, there's a few reasons, right? Not to mention the things that I just talked about in terms of the brain and what's happening, but it also allows us to have a more positive mindset. So, practicing gratitude helps us shift our focus from all of these negative thoughts that our brain will automatically be biased towards anyways. And so, by practicing gratitude, we shift our focus into something else, that we shift our focus from the thoughts and the emotions to positive ones, leading to a more positive mindset. And so, this alone can really help in reducing stress, anxiety, depression, but also just open our heart to the possibility, right, of all of these other aspects of self and our emotional state. There's the second part is increased resiliency. So grateful people tend to have a more optimistic outlook on life, which really helps them cope with challenges and setbacks more effectively. When we think about it, this is an increased resilience that can really improve mental health and our overall well-being. One of the things about resiliency is we recognize that life is not like this, right? Life has ups and downs. And so how do we move through those ups and downs? One of the elements of resiliency is hope. And gratitude can really allow us to not get stuck in what's missing or what's not going right in our life, but allow us to have a more broader perspective and taking in the positive things that might be going on as well, or at least a hopefulness about how it might be improved in the future. The third is improved relationships. So, expressing gratitude towards others can really help us strengthen our relationships and build a sense of connection and community. And this can really improve our social supports around us and reduce feelings of loneliness and isolation. Post COVID, or coming out of these last 3 years, The sense of loneliness and isolation was felt by a lot of people. And so we want to be able to start to create a better sense of connection and community once again with those people. And one of the things that we can do is by expressing gratitude towards those, whether they're strangers that we're meeting or those people who matter most to us. Often in couples counseling, we talk about creating a culture of appreciation and how important that is to create what we call a positive sentiment override, which basically means we're giving the person the benefit of the doubt. And the more that we express gratitude and appreciation with each other in a couple and in relationship, the more likely we're going to give that person the benefit of the doubt when there is a bit of a challenge. And the last thing is increased self esteem. So, being grateful for oneself, for one's abilities, can really boost our self esteem and our sense of self worth. And this can lead to an improved overall mental health and a positive self image. We're going to be diving into this idea of self esteem, self worth, self image, self confidence in our summer program, the Self Series. For now, know that when you practice gratitude and include oneself and like your own strengths and your own willingness, perhaps to take a risk or to do something that felt a little uncomfortable, and finding gratitude both for your courage or for your ability to do that, really starts to build that confidence up. Overall, practicing gratitude is a simple and effective way to really improve our mental and emotional well being. And it allows us to shift our focus, our mindset, and our relationships in really positive ways. So, okay. How do we actually practice gratitude, right? Or what are some of the ways that we can generate feelings of gratitude? Well, the first one, of course, is keeping a gratitude journal, writing down the 3 or 5 things every day that you're grateful for is certainly one of the most common ones. And this really helps us shift our focus from the negative to the positive and cultivates that sense of appreciation for the good things in life. But here's a few others. Not everybody wants to keep a journal. So we can express gratitude to others. We could look for ways to really say thank you to someone. We could write a thank you note. Remember back in the day when we used to do that more often? Or tell someone how much we appreciate them, or send them a text and express that to them. Check in with them. Express gratitude towards others can really help strengthen those relationships. And again, building that sense of connection with others. We can practice mindfulness. Mindfulness meditation can really help us cultivate a sense of gratitude by bringing into our awareness, into our conscious mind, to the present moment, and appreciating the beauty and the small things that are in our life every day, at any moment. Sometimes it really is about just thinking, even right now, if you close your eyes, just think of something that's around you right now in this moment to be grateful for. For me, it might even just be literally the room that I'm in, the home that I have, the warmth. I can hear the furnace running. I have a cup of tea in front of me. I have all of you here. I have the internet that allows me to do this. There's so many things that we can take in at any given moment, no matter what is going on in our life. And that's sometimes the struggle, which I'll talk about in a minute. So, the fourth way that we can kind of engage in the idea of gratitude or gratitude practice is simply allowing ourselves to focus on the positive. Or what I do is this game of, okay, for every negative thing that you think about, you got to be challenge yourself to come up with something positive as well, and creating that more balanced perspective in how you're viewing the world around you and yourself. So when faced with a difficult situation, try to find something positive in it. It doesn't mean that you have to negate the negative things that might be there, but it's not all that's there. And so it allows us, when we do this practice, to really cultivate a sense of a broader perspective and taking it all in. And that really helps us to improve our mood and not to become fixated on what might not be going so well. Visualize a positive outcome. This is a great one, even in terms of just imagining a future where everything works out in the best possible way. This can help us generate those feelings of optimism as well as gratitude for the good things that may happen for us. So, we offer a free WhatsApp group for daily gratitude practice where we welcome anyone to come in and to share every day or as much as they like what they're grateful for each day. And I'll include links to that in the notes if anybody would like to join us in that. There's no obligation. No one's going to hold you accountable for doing it every day. And sometimes just reading what other people are grateful for, again, generates those feelings of gratitude. Because actually, one way of connecting to the feeling of gratitude, even if we're having a hard time connecting to things in our own life, because sometimes it's hard. We're going through a really challenging period in our life. It's really hard sometimes to connect to what we're grateful for. Our feelings, it might be despair, they might be anger, they might be just sadness and grief. And so, one way is to connect to stories of gratitude, acts of kindness and appreciation of others. And sometimes these stories are really powerful. Sometimes they're even more powerful than, sitting and writing our three things in our journal. So, think about stories of gratitude in your own lives, the stories that you might have heard of that really tug at your heartstrings, if you will. I was recently reminded about a beautiful story by a professor at Carnegie Mellon University. And I think it was back in 2006, 2007. Um, so a little while ago, but still, as I actually was watching it the other day, and it still is valid and beautiful today. Randy Posh, who was diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer in about 2007, and he did the last lecture at Carnegie Mellon, where he shared his life lessons and expressed immense gratitude for the people and the experiences that he had in his life and how those shaped who he was. And he talks all about kind of making his dream as a child come true. And his lecture, I think actually, when I looked at it the other day, it was 21 million views of it on YouTube. And that didn't even account for the clips that I'm sure exist and the re-uploads and whatnot. And there was a book written about it as well. But I think sometimes when we're having a hard time connecting to gratitude in our own life, but connecting to someone else's lived experience with gratitude and their appreciation for life really touches at us. And it allows us to feel that sense of gratitude even when it's not ours. It's a similar experience to compassion. Sometimes and often when I'm teaching self-compassion, people have a hard time sometimes allowing themselves to feel compassion for self. And so there's a meditation called a compassionate being meditation, where we imagine someone in front of us who we envision as a compassionate being, whoever that might be for you. And as you envision them offering you compassion. Now, of course, this is all in our minds. So truly, we are the ones giving compassion to ourselves, but it is through someone else and through this experience with someone else. And so it is as true in that moment as gratitude is in connecting to other stories. So these stories really show how gratitude can be inspired through acts of kindness, that they strengthen relationships and they bring hope and joy even during really difficult times. And so by practicing any or all of these strategies, it's possible to generate feelings of gratitude and really cultivate a more positive outlook on life. And that's so important when we think about it from a place of well-being. So when we're facing challenging times, how can gratitude support us? Gratitude can really have some positive effects on our mental and emotional well-being. So one of the things as mentioned is gratitude can really reduce our stress by shifting our focus from the negative, right, fixation to more positive thoughts, even if it's just a more balanced perspective. When facing adversity, expressing gratitude for the things that we do have can really help us reduce the overwhelm. It can improve resiliency, as I mentioned before. So, by increasing optimism and positive thinking, when we are grateful for the good things in our life, we're able to cope with those other challenges. We know from looking at resiliency that this is a really important component to being able to navigate those challenging times and bounce back, if you will. And I don't think we really bounce back. I think we more just move forward with less maybe of the ups and the downs. We increase our social support by strengthening those relationships with others. When we express gratitude towards others, it can really foster a sense of connection and community again. It boosts our mood, right? We're feeling more a sense of happiness and contentment and hopefulness. And so when we focus on the good things in life, we're just happier. And of course, this just overall sense of well being, it can really support a sense of purpose and meaning and satisfaction in our lives. And when we express gratitude, it can help us focus on the things that really matter the most to us and are valuable in our own life, right? It gives us that sense of clarity, perhaps sometimes, as to what is really important to me. Okay. So, before we do our practice, I just wanted to say, there's a difference between this idea of a feeling gratitude in a moment and really embodying gratitude. And to embody gratitude really means to make it an integral part of how you operate, of how you live your life. And it involves more than just feeling thankfulness for on a special occasion or cultivating a deep and abiding sense of appreciation. Pardon me, it is about cultivating a deep and abiding sense of appreciation and thankfulness in our everyday lives about anything and everything that we have around us. So when we embody gratitude, we approach life with this sense of abundance and joy. And we even do that in the times where there's adversity or challenges. And we're able to appreciate the simple things in life and find meaning and purpose in our experiences. And we're also able to express that to others to show appreciation for all of the blessings in our life. Embodying gratitude can be compared from moving from a state of gratitude to a trait of gratitude. A state of gratitude, refers to that temporary feeling in the moment, but perhaps in response to an event or a circumstance. For example, we might feel grateful after receiving a gift or experiencing a positive outcome. However, this feeling may not necessarily persist beyond the immediate situation. On the other hand, a trait of gratitude is more enduring, a stable characteristic of how you operate, of your personality. It involves cultivating a general sense of appreciation in your everyday life, even in the absence of a specific event or circumstance, right? So it's kind of a regular day. How are you operating? Are you operating with a sense of gratitude for even being alive and waking up and having the opportunity to live another day? That is a trait, right? That's a grateful person, not a person who feels grateful. Embodying gratitude means moving from that temporary state to a more endearing trait. And so, by making gratitude a part of your everyday lives, this is what happens. We start to incorporate it into our attitude and our behaviors, right? When we think of embodying, it's our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions in alignment with each other. And so, we cultivate a more enduring sense of appreciation. So, one of the ways, of course, that we do this, moving from a reactive state of gratitude to a more proactive or intentional trait of gratitude, where we're actively seeking things out to be grateful for, right? We're not as an afterthought going, okay, I had a day. I need to write my 5 things to be grateful for. What am I grateful for today? But we're actually looking around us on a regular basis to take in the beauty and the opportunity that exists from moment to moment. Embodying gratitude requires practice and intentionality. It involves cultivating a mindset of gratitude through our daily practices, whether that's mindfulness, journaling, doing random acts of kindness, whatever it might be. It involves recognizing and acknowledging the positive aspects of our lives, even when they're difficult. And so I encourage you to think about how you can embody gratitude in your day to day living and reflecting this deep and abiding sense of appreciation and thankfulness and incorporating that attitude into every aspect of your life. Okay, so let's practice. As we do, we are going to find a comfortable seated position, whatever that might look like for you right now, wherever you may be as you're watching this. If you feel so if you're driving or something, please don't do this, but otherwise, if you feel comfortable, close your eyes or turn your gaze away from the screens. Excuse me while I take a sip of tea. So let's begin the practice of gratitude by beginning to notice something, perhaps something really simple that you're experiencing right now. Feeling a warm cup of tea in your hands like I am. Perhaps you're outside and or in a window where you can feel the sunlight still on your skin. Maybe it's just the experience of the comfort of your chair that you're sitting on, the beautiful flowers that I see, or just the ability to pause in the middle of your busy life to engage in this practice right now. Choose one simple thing to notice at this moment and allow it to fully absorb into your experience. Let appreciation and gratitude arise and fill your body and your mind. Appreciation for this one simple moment right now. Reflect on someone who you don't know very well, but who supported your experience in some way today. There was somebody who, at some point along the day, did something to help your life. I mean, maybe it was a person who drove you somewhere. It was maybe somebody who made your coffee, your barista. Maybe it was somebody at a grocery store that helped you out. Maybe it was like something else entirely, like an author who wrote a book that you're reading, or somebody on Instagram and that posted something. Just reflect on someone who you don't really know, but who supported you in some way today. And allow yourself to feel how you benefited from their gift, of their work. And allow yourself to feel some gratitude and appreciation for them. Think about the tools that you use to support your work in your life. Tools like your computer, your books, the tools that you use, perhaps the car that you drive for work, the building that you occupy, the desk. Considering all the things that were needed for its creation. Knowing how much these things have benefited you for your work, for your survival, for the creation of whatever it is that you do in your day-to-day life. Feeling gratitude to have access to these tools. Feeling gratitude for the people who work that allow you to do that. Perhaps even thinking about a particular person you work with and whose effort directly support your work. Appreciate their contribution, their good intention, saying in your mind to them, thank you. Thank you. Now I want you to bring to mind someone who you really care about, someone who makes your heart sing in some way. Picture them in your mind and think about what this person means to you. What do you appreciate about them? Who are they? What have you experienced together? What's the impact that they've had on your life? And as you imagine them and think of these things, notice the feelings that you're experiencing. What sensations do you detect in your body? Especially those in the area of your heart, allowing your heart to expand, letting yourself express gratitude towards them, whether they're here or not, thanking them for being who they are and for their presence in your life. And imagine them receiving your gratitude, really feeling it. Okay, now bring to mind someone in particular that you're grateful for today, something that made a difference to you, or that you especially noticed. Perhaps it was a smile at someone that you met on the street, someone's kind words, a selfless action, feeling the appreciation and gratitude you have for its presence in your day. How maybe it shifted your day. Sometimes you just that person that smiles to you in this genuine, loving way on the street, and you were maybe in a bad mood before, and it was just that one thing that shifted things for you. Bringing to mind that which you're grateful for and allowing yourself to rest in the experience of this gratitude. When we begin to cultivate a practice of gratitude, the more we do it, the more we're able to find ourselves able to be grateful even for difficult or unpleasant experiences. And so I invite you, although you do not have to, if there's something that's coming to mind, an experience in your life that might have been a little challenging, for which you're able to express thanks now after the event for what it offered you, offering your appreciation, maybe not necessarily for the situation, but for the people that supported you during that experience, for your own resiliency, for your own way of handling the situation, whatever it might be. Thank this challenge for what it may offer you. Now, expand this feeling of gratitude for your body. This body that carried you through this day, that'll continue to carry you in whatever way it carries you. The heart beating, the body breathing. Gratitude for your mind. Gratitude for the simple fact of being alive in this moment. appreciating the opportunity to pause and experience this very practice of gratitude together, for all that you brought to mind during this practice, for all the countless gifts in your life. Say thank you. Thank you to all of the people, to all of this around you that is a part of you, for all that you've experienced in your life. For all of it, say thank you. Thank you. Noticing even our resistance in moments to what we don't want to give gratitude for. Just note it. Allow your heart to be open, allowing the sense of gratitude to fill you completely as you breathe in, as you breathe out, settling your mind on your breath. Here and now, fully alive and present in this moment. Finish with a deep breath in and a long, slow breath out. And gently and slowly open your eyes, returning your awareness to wherever you are, perhaps taking another moment with hand on chest, hand on heart, hand on belly. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight, whether live or watching this later. In April, we're going to begin to examine and redefine success in 2023. So our next live is going to be actually on resiliency on April 13th. You are so invited. I hope you will attend or watch later. If you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe and get updated information on all of our videos as they go live, and join us in our practice group on Facebook at Self Mastery Sangha. I will include links to all of those things as well as our WhatsApp group in the notes, the show notes. But for now, I say thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening or day, whatever that might be.